Moip. My goal here is to just try to keep things as inexpensive as possible for a Eurorack build. And I'm not going to be building my own power supply. And fact is, apparently, it's hard to build a power supply that is cheaper than these Behringer CP1As here. These things are $60 at Sweetwater. I happened to catch 3 of them. I'm using 2 for this and 1 for a friend. They were on back order. So it pays to use those email services and they let you know when the item comes in. So here's the flying bus. I've been kind of curious about like the length of these flying buses and where I'm going to place the power supply face boards. I might put them on the top or the bottom rather than in the main rails. There's going to be a total of 4 of these because each power supply has 2. We've got the power cord, the AC adapter, the main unit here, and our 2 flying buses. I'll have 2 for each rail, which should be plenty. I did want to just kind of make sure that the rails are the right length. I did the Synthrotek custom cut option. Ooh, a new Synthrotek? Oh, I thought it was a sticker. So I got 19 and 15/16 length. I got the slide nuts because I'm fine with the ones I have in the Eurorack Go case. Comes with the necessary hardware. Keep that safe. Let's see. Let's see how these look. And ooh, that looks a little short. I guess I'll add the brackets in. We'll see what that looks like. Yeah. Okay, let's see how this fits. It's a pretty good fit. I definitely could have kept another 1/16 inch on there. There's a little wiggle room. It's going to go this way. Well, actually, it's going to go this way. Once I screw them in, it will not be good. That extra 1/16 of an inch would have been perfect. Oh well, so I'll probably have to shim this with something. So what I was thinking of doing when I actually add the power supplies, instead of having to deal, since I'm going to have 2 of these in this case, I don't want to have 2 of these, plugs coming out. I don't want to have these things sticking out. I'd rather just have it all as self-contained as possible. So what I'm thinking I'll do, what I'd like to do, is just put in a small extension cord inside the bottom of the case here. And they don't even need, I thought they would have to have the ground plug, but they don't even need the ground plug, which, I don't know, seems like they probably should have ground. Hopefully that doesn't mean they're noisy. But I wanted to try mounting these inside. I wanted to see what this height is here. The deepest any module I'm likely to have is about 60 millimeters. Okay, now let's put this down. I'm sure there's plenty of space, but I'm just kind of curious. So that is plenty of space. So 60 millimeters would be about there. Plenty of space. Not a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and plan to mount both of my little bricks inside here with an extension cord coming out, one of the top or probably the bottom here. So when I sit this up like this, I don't have one cord that I have to deal with, and just keep everything plugged in internally. And I'll just run the power cord to the main unit, the head unit. So I have something, I'll probably put them on the bottom. Maybe the top, not sure. I was thinking of having something like this. So the racks will be here, the rails will be here, and then the power supply will be kind of sandwiched. It'll be right about there. Ooh, I don't know. I was thinking it'd be cool to have a 1 unit row, a 1U row at the top here, and we'll see if there's space. The next thing I'm going to need to do is take care of all of these really bad parts of the case that are flexing out. Boy, using a syringe for this is really nice. Makes it a lot easier. I'm trying to cram that in there. Alright, I'm just going to set this over here, put some weights on the corners, and hope for the best. Now, thankfully, the top of the suitcase really isn't doing the same thing where it's separating like that. So I think what I'm going to do on this now is paint the wood hardener onto these messed up corners. And then once the wood hardener hardens, I'm going to go back and fill it in with some wood putty. Now there's a crack. This is going to need some attention here. Alright, so this is going to need some glue. I'm going to do that first. I'm going to go ahead and glue this, get a clamp on here, and then I'll do the wood hardening. Okay, let's see how to do this. It's not separated it's not giving me a gap in the separation, it's just moving up and down. So I can't really get the glue into anything. And what's going on the inside here? I really don't want to tear this up. I'm concerned that it might be separating quite a bit this direction. I'm just going to squirt a bunch down in there. That'll fix it. I'm just going to make this very gluey. Just kind of work it around. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to get a little bit more glue in that corner. Let's see, any flex? That feels pretty good. That feels nice and sturdy. Okay. I want to put the wood hardener on each of these main large panels. I want to weigh them down so that they stay flat. Try to get this bulge out. This one's not too bad, but this lid on top is pretty bowed. That's a lot. I want to see if all the weight I have here is enough to weigh this down. And I have some more. Wow. That is really bowed. I'm going to go ahead and just cut off this handle here. It needs to come off. It is time. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put the wood hardener on the corners just to get them a little bit more stable. And I think what I'm going to do for the final finish, I'm just going to put a black matte spray paint on here. So I'm not going to worry too much about the shininess of this stuff because it's going to get coated in a black matte paint. This one's really exposed, so I'm going to cover this pretty well. I'll probably even go back in with some wood filler for some of these gaps just to make sure that there's something there. I want this to be pretty well waterproof when I'm done. Because this is a travel case, I want to be able to carry this in the rain and not have to worry about it getting wet inside for obvious reasons. There. The instructions for this specifically state that the wood filler goes on after this. That is stuck on surprisingly well, so I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of seal that up a little bit. I'm going to be putting corner protectors on these, so they'll have additional hardware protection. I'm going to pour the wood hardener down in here, spread it around, and I'm going to put some weights on it all to just try to get this to lay flat again. I don't think that's going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot. I want to put the wood hardener on here anyways. And I've got a laminated playing card here I'm going to use to spread it around. And hopefully that will just kind of help protect this whole layer. Save some for the other side. Let's see how that does. Spread this around. Ooh, it starts to stink when you put it in this quantity. It hasn't been too bad so far, but this is getting pretty smelly. Ugh. Time for a mask. Man, I can smell it through the mask. I'm just going to use a... Alright, I'm going to set this, well, I'm going to do this separately. I'll set this on the floor over here. Looks like I still have a hole because some leaked through. I'll turn my fan on. I got a bucket full of water. It is now the next day, so let's see if this flattening process actually made any difference. I don't think it will. I think it's going to have to wait until I get the plywood in place for it to really make a difference. You know, that is actually quite a bit different. Ooh, ooh. It's fine, it'll be fine. That actually turned out surprisingly well. That is really flat. Let me check the bottom piece. Got some crud on here. Let's see if I can brush some of this off here. Got some rippling going on down there. I'm not sure what happened there. Hopefully, let's see. Will I be able to get glue down in there? I was going to try to get some glue between the layers, but that one, I don't think I can do anything about that. That's really flat. That totally worked. Both of them. Well, that's pretty cool. That's a surprise. Yeah, ooh, I can still smell it though. This needs to air out some more. I want to see how much of a shim I'm going to need in order to get my rack rails to fit properly. There we go. Just try slipping this in here. Ooh, that's pretty good. I think this scrap piece might be perfect. Oh yeah, look at that. It's a pressure fit. That's cool. Nice. Okay, so this piece will absolutely work as my shim. I was hoping I could slip it underneath the material, the vinyl stuff, but that does not look like that's going to happen. So cut this to the right length for the flat part before it starts into the curve corner and up here. Mark where that cut needs to be. And just get this smoothed down a little bit. That looks good. Okay, let's see how's this fit in here. Yeah, that's perfect. That'll be just fine. So I think what I'm going to do is use some of my India ink to black this out, because I just want it to disappear over here. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Once I get the black on here and get everything in place, you'll never even notice this little bit of wood here. So if you've ever got some wood that you want to be just completely black, using India ink is great, and it's pretty inexpensive considering how much you get for this. And it turns everything black. Pine, doesn't matter. I love it for plywood or even work. This is a scrap of 2x4 that I cut down a while back for something. And it just blacks it out. It's not like ebony wood stain where it just kind of makes it darker and slightly gray and blackish. It almost looks like that kind of 80s black wood that was everywhere. That's pretty good. Here. Glue has dried. Yep, that feels good. Do a quick check with the rails just to see how that's looking. Perfect. Yep, that's gonna be great. Nice snug fit. Use playing card to get down the crack. I'm going to put the corners, outside corners, still need gaps there. Make it still be there. This is actually on the letters of vinyl fabric, not black ink. Put it on the exterior here. And push this stuff into the cracks. Like sand afterwards. Now the corner protectors are going on corners, corner protectors, like one of these corners. So a deep crack there. I don't know that part. You want to coat that area with that black tape, black wood tape, and get it painted. I'll do there. I'm going to sand off the corners and get this smoothed out. Get these ready for some of that liquid tape. I think this is my favorite wood filler. That plastic wood. I've had this for a long time, and eventually it does start to set a bit. It's kind of firm and kind of clumpy in there. And I just spray some water in there, then just stir it around, mix it around. And eventually it'll just kind of work back and it's all soft and pliable again. Just don't let it get too firm or you've lost it. But it's really easy to work with. I seem to recall it staining pretty well, so if you add stain, it'll take the color, because I've used some plastic wood fillers that just do not take stain, which gets really frustrating. That's pretty clumpy. Let's add some curl in here. A little sloppy with my plastic wood. That's fine. Let's see. Well, I think I painted. Let's scrape this off. Probably let it down right off. Yeah. Being water soluble and able to wipe it off with a little water and a paper towel is pretty nice. Another reason why I like this stuff. Yeah. Okay, other side. And we go again. That's fine. Does it matter which board goes in which piece? Top or bottom? I don't know. That's a pretty good fit, so if the other one fits in the lid, I'll just go with that. Let's see how this looks. No, this one doesn't seem to fit too well. Maybe, is there like another way? Orientation that will work? Ooh, that actually does seem to work a little bit better. But still not great. Let me try the other board just to see, and then I'll mark which one goes where. Let's try this. I know I got it in the lid before, but I've done stuff since then, so... Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay, so I'm going to mark this is the lid and the clasps are up there. That's glue in here. Powder perimeter. And main section. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, and the rest of around. I'm going to around the weights on here, so it's the lid, the clasps, and it goes in this way. Really close. Glue there. Okay. And there. Starting to see it. Okay, so I'm going to take this parchment paper. I'm just going to sit on the floor over here with a bunch of weights. Got a gallon of water and some small weights. Oops, missed. And I'm going to fill in the cracks and edges right here with this wood putty. Once I get it, I'll glue it in. Clasps that direction. And there it goes.
And there it goes.
All right, and this one, I've got the bucket of water. Just gonna set this on here. There we go. I think that should do just fine. That's also gonna help flatten out those cardboard panels. Okay, so let glue dry.